What's up guys, this is Crazy HD and this is my first tutorial video, and this tutorial was requested by Darkeyes Gaming, something like that. I don't remember their name, but it was on one of my videos, so the comment will be at the end of this video. And this is my first tutorial on this channel, and it's for how to make a YouTube background. And hopefully you like my desktop, and yeah, so let's get started. This is just gonna be in this is just gonna be for Photoshop. It's not gonna have anything to do with like Cinema 4D or any other company software. I'm just gonna load up my background template. You can get this from my GFX pack that came out not too long ago. I'm just gonna drag it into Photoshop. Okay, and basically I made this when I had my other channel. Yeah, so let's get started. First thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to subscribe, like this video, and then maybe you can leave a comment. I don't know, but you can do those if you want. But let's get started. You could use whatever images you want. I'm going to be using stuff from my 25 giveaway pack, and there will be another giveaway coming out soon for Cinema 4D, because I just reached 10 likes on my other giveaway. Okay, so basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a background image, or first you could put a text, whichever one you want to do. I think first what we're going to do is we're going to put a text. So just make a new layer by going down to where it has your vector mask, patterns, and everything, and this symbol next to the trash can icon. You're going to click this, and that's just going to make a new layer, and you're just going to click anywhere on the screen, and you could increase the size by going up at the top, and it should have the fonts regular, and then this is the size right here. You can increase it like that, or you could just type in whatever number. I'm going to type in about 150. I'm going to change the color to white for right now. And basically what we could do is just type in whatever you want. I'm going to type in tutorial, and basically what I'm going to do now is just select your text and then go up to the top, change the font to whatever you want. I'm going to go with probably slant. Yeah, and I'm just gonna click the check mark at the top. And sorry if you can hear that background noise. I'm working on getting a new mic. What we can do now is, if you're on PC, press Control T, or if you're on Mac, it's Command T. And it should bring up these transform tools, which is like a box around whatever layer you got selected. But whenever you do that, make sure you have your text layer selected. And all you're going to want to do is right click and then rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. And basically what that's going to do is, well, you should have saw what it did. It made the text counterclockwise. Okay, well, and if you want to move it around like straight across this, all you have to do is hold down shift, but I'm going to place it on the left side, like right there. And once you find the place where you want to put it, just click enter. Okay, and now what you're going to want to do is, once you have your text finished and everything, you're going to want to double click on the text layer, which you can find your layers by going to the right side, and it should say layers, channels, and paths. You're just going to want to click on layers and double click on your tutorial layer or whatever text layer you got, and it should bring up this box that says layer styles. And what these layer styles will do is you can add like drop shadows, inner shadows, outer glow, and so on. And basically what these will do is make your text have a better effect to it, make it look more 3D, make it look a lot better. I'm gonna add a drop shadow. I'm gonna change the opacity. Make sure you click on your drop shadow. I'm gonna change the opacity to 50, and I'm gonna change the distance to 0 and the spread to 20 and the size to 24. Okay, and you can see we basically got this drop shadow back here behind my text. Basically what we're going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of an inner shadow. So just check your inner shadow, and then I'm going to change the opacity to 50 and distance 0, choke 10, and size 10. Basically you get this kind of light inner shadow, and this is what I use for my 3D text that I make. And there might be another tutorial on making backgrounds in Cinema 4D. Maybe y'all could leave a comment down below and y'all can vote on that. Basically what we want to do now is bevel and emboss. You could add that, which it gives it a more 3D effect, but I'm not going to add a bevel and emboss. I'm going to go for gradient overlay. So just click on your gradient overlay, and when you got your text on this side, on your left side, you're going to change the angle to 180, which it'll make the black overlay at the bottom and the white at the top. But what you could do for this is, if you're using like 3D, just go to the blend mode for the gradient overlay and change that to overlay. And what it would do is just give you whatever color you had, and then like a gray or whatever. But I'm not going to do that right now since I'm using a white color and a 2D text. You can change the style to radial or whatever you want. I'm going to just leave it at linear, and then I'm going to click on our gradient, and I'm going to change the black value. Well, first I'm going to change the white value to something like a red. Something like that. And then I'm going to change the black value to like a dark red. Basically what it does is give it this light to dark gradient, and that looks really good whenever you're making a background, especially if it's like a 3D background, 3D text background. Makes this look really good if you make an overlay and then make a gradient overlay, then make the blend mode overlay. And you're just going to click OK on those, and depends on what font you're using. Some might look good and some might not. I'm going to add a stroke. Sorry for the guy sending me a message on Skype. And I'm gonna leave the stroke on, and I'm probably gonna lower the size down to maybe 2, just so what it does, it gives a less stroke. And you can change the color, but I'm gonna keep this at black because I think red and black go good together. And basically you can mess around with all these other settings. Maybe you could add outer glow, but that's completely up to you. I'm just gonna go for this right now for the sake of the tutorial. And basically we got a good text going on right there, and if you want to duplicate the text, just click on your text layer, and then you can press Control J, and what that will do it'll copy the text layer and duplicate it. So basically, you just hit Control J or Command J if you're on Mac, and then you'll end up with a tutorial copy or whatever yours was called. And if you want to rename this, which it's a good thing to do if you want to keep your workspace organized, what you can do is click Enter. Double click on your layer where it shows your text, and then just type in whatever you want. I'm gonna go for something like write tutorial. Okay, and then what you can do now is press Control T or Command T if you're on Mac, and you'll select your layer, and then just right click, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and then do it one more time, rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drag this over to the right side, or you don't have to do this if you don't want, but I prefer for this background I'm going to do this. And basically what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to change the gradient to where it's 90 degrees or 0 degrees. So basically what you're going to want to do is go to your gradient overlay on this side, and I can see I'm a little bit off right here, so just hold down Alt on your keyboard and use your scroller wheel and zoom in. Control T, and just size this up, right? Something like that. Okay, sorry about that, I was just replying to those messages. Basically what we could do now is make sure you're selected on your right layer, text layer, and just double click on a blank spot on your layer, and it would bring up the layer styles, and we're just going to go to the gradient overlay. We're going to change that to 0, just so the dark red or whatever color you're using is at the bottom like this one, and then you're just going to click OK. And basically what we got now is we got two good looking layers, text layers, and that's going to make this background look better. And just hold Control, make sure you have one of your text layers selected, because we're going to make this workspace look a lot better. What you're going to want to do now is make sure you have one of your text layers selected, and then hold Control and select your second text layer, and then while still holding Control, press Control G, and it'll group the layers. And then what you do now is rename this layer by double clicking on the text, and then change it to something like text, just so our workspace could get more clean. And basically what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding some backgrounds and everything. I'm basically gonna go for I'm gonna go to my textures. I'm gonna go to a black backdrop, and this will all be available on my channel on my 25 GFX pack. And I'm just gonna drag this out until it fits the screen size, and you're just gonna click Enter. And you don't want this to be going over top of all your stuff, so go to your, if you're using my GFX pack that has the template in it, go to this bottom layer, bottom group layer, and then click the arrow to drag everything down, and then you see like content area, fade, and pattern fill. Click your black backdrop and just hold down your left mouse button and drag it down below the fade. And hold on, I gotta reply to these messages. Okay, and now we don't want this black backdrop to be looking completely black like this with a little bit of gray right there. So what we're gonna do now, some of you might like it like this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rasterize this layer, and in order to do that, right click and click rasterize layer. And basically what that allows you to do is use like your eraser tool or whatever, but we're not gonna do that. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is click Control U or Command U if you're on Mac, or you go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue and Saturation. And we're gonna add some, make sure you check Colorize, and since I'm using my text as being red, I'm gonna add a red to this, so just use whatever color you want. Bring the saturation up, however much you think is good, and I'm gonna lower the lightness a little, and that looks pretty good right there. And basically what I want to do now is I want to add some curves to this whole image right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our adjustments, which it should be above the layers and everything, and we're just going to go to this one that says curves adjustment. You're going to click on that, and we're going to bring the contrast up some, and then we're going to lower down a little, just so it gives it a brighter and much more better looking effect. Now let me reply to these messages again, these annoying people. Okay, sorry about that. I just removed that guy from my contacts. Basically what we're going to do now is you can add more curves or whatever. If you want to change the whole color of this, just go to Hue and Saturation, Colorize, and just change this to whatever you want. But we're not going to do that, so I'm just going to delete that, and we're going to add some cool effects now. And that guy was messaging me again. Yeah, so we could just add more patterns, textures, and everything. I'm gonna add probably, here, let me zoom these materials in. I want to add something else that makes it look cool. So you could just add whatever you want. I'm gonna go pink marble, and I'm gonna drag this pink marble out until they reach the corners. It fills up the whole screen. Okay, and I'm just gonna click enter, and then I'm gonna drag this underneath my fade, and then I'm gonna click on the pink marble layer, and then I'm gonna go to overlay. No, never mind. I'm not gonna do it for this one. Let's see, let's just scroll through these, see what looks good. If none of these look good, just set it back to normal, and we could change this ourselves. And I think I'm going to change it back to normal, and I think I'm going to edit this myself. So just click on your pink marble layer, and then we're going to go to Hue and Saturation. Actually, press Control U to bring up the hue and saturation for that one layer. First, make sure you rasterize it, so click on your pink marble, right click, rasterize, and then Control U or Command U. Okay, sorry about that. Now what? Okay, sorry about that again. But now what we can do, since we're on our hue and saturation for that one layer, we could just lower the lightness down. Perhaps we could change the color for it. So just go colorize. I'm gonna lower the lightness down again. Okay, and then I'm just gonna lower the color to red. Maybe change the saturation up a little. Lower the lightness just down a little bit more. And basically now what we could do, we could change this to probably lighten. Yeah, lighten looks good. So I just changed the blend mode for that one layer to lighten. And yeah, basically what we could do now is add some more stuff that would make this look good. So we could add some flares, but sometimes I don't add flares because it just makes it look horrible, but we could do it this time. So drag any kind of flare in, and again those are in my 25 GFX pack. And while having the layer selected, go to the blend mode and change it to screen. Basically what that would do is get rid of all the black background, and basically that's what we want. But if you don't want to do like that, then just change the blend mode to normal, click check mark, double click on your layer, and then to bring up the layer styles, and then change, while on your blending options, change this layer, change it down to where it clips out all the black, but it might not look good, so we could just do it the normal way by changing the blend mode to screen, or maybe even overlay would look good. No, screen looks better, so just change it to screen and then click enter, and then Control T or Command T if you're on Mac, and it will bring up the transform tools. And what you're going to want to do now is right click, and you're going to go to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, and now you can just place this wherever you want your flare. I'm going to place it, I'm going to hold Alt, zoom in with my scroller wheel, and I'm just going to hold shift, and I'm going to lower this down just a little. Okay, something like that, and basically we're going to drag that underneath the fade, and then we're going to change the color to this. So you don't have to change the color for it, but I think I will. So make sure the layer is rasterized. Right click rasterize layer, then go to image, adjustments, and hue and saturation. I'm going to click colorize. I'm going to change this to probably a red. Increase the saturation, decrease lightness, and that's good right there. Now I'm just going to drag our text group underneath the fade, but below the flare, and I'm just going to duplicate the flare, Control J or Command J if you're on Mac, and then Control T or Command T if you're on Mac, and then right click, flip horizontal, and I'm just going to zoom in again by holding down Alt and use my scroller wheel. I'm going to move that into place. And basically right now we got a pretty good looking background, but at the top, if you see up here, the flare gets in the middle. It gets in the way of that. So what we're going to do is click. We could do these at the same time, so, or you can do them separately. If you want to do them separately, just click on one of your elegant, well, whatever flare you're using, and then you're just going to get your eraser tool and just erase. You could right click and change down the size, the hardness, or whatever, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these at the same time. So in order to do that, select both your layers by clicking on your first flare, and then hold down Control, click your second flare, and then you're gonna right click, merge layers, and what that will do is it'll merge those two layers together, but you'll still get a great effect. Maybe not. Oh yeah, we gotta change the blend mode back to the screen, and what it will do now is it'll give you a good effect like we just had, but now if you do something on this side, it should have done it to that side. But here, let's see. It doesn't look like it's gonna do it, so I guess we could group these layers together. Control G or Command G if you're on Mac. Whoops. Okay, well, let me group these layers together again. Okay, and then right click, merge group, and then we're gonna go change the blend mode back to screen. Now let me see if it'll work now. Nope, but whatever. At least we got those merged together. So just go erase these by themselves, which I did that one by mistake. And sorry if you can hear my dog in the background, but she's kidding. Okay, now what we could do is okay. Now since we deleted that right there, you can delete all this. If you zoom in, you see how the flare makes this line or whatever. You can delete that, but I don't got the time to do that. Okay, and let's see what we can do now. Let's add some more stuff to this. We could add some flames, but no, let's not do that this time. I'll add some metal wires, and these are also in the 25 GFX pack giveaway. And I'm just gonna click on the metal tube pack. I'm gonna drag it into Photoshop, and I want one of these wires, so I'm gonna probably get the middle one. So it's one of these. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I chose the right one. So in order, click on the layer you want, and then get your move tool by pressing V, or you could just click it right here and just drag it up into your YouTube background template. And then I'm gonna flip this around, and to rotate something, however much you want, click outside of your transform tool, and then right click, and I'm gonna click flip horizontal, and that looks good right there. So I'm gonna put this below. I'm gonna put that like right here, and then click enter, and I'm gonna drag it below my text layer, and then that looks good right there, so I'm gonna duplicate that, Control T, flip horizontal, I'm gonna drag it up here, and I'm gonna rotate this thing around. And maybe something like this. And yeah, I think that's how I'll do that. And then I'll just merge these two layers together and transform them, put them on the other side. So click on your first, whichever one you were just selected on, hold Control, click on your second layer of these, and then group them together, Control G, and then what we're going to do, right click, merge group, and it'll put those two layers together into one. So what we're going to do now is right click, duplicate group, duplicate layer, just click OK, and then press Control T or Command T if you're on Mac, and then right click and flip horizontal. And I'm gonna drag the well, I think right there was pretty good. And just click OK, enter, and I think that's basically what we can do for this background. I think that's basically all you need to know right now. If there's any tutorials you want done, just leave me a comment down below and I'll try to make them. Yeah, so I hope this tutorial helped you out, and if it did, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe, because subscribers are a good thing. They bring you happiness. But no, just click the subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video, tutorial, whatever it's gonna be. Make sure you leave a comment on what you want the next tutorial to be. Thanks.